we're going to be accelerating up the back. In this video, I wanted to showcase what I do. Half of my job is coaching people on a one-to-one basis or traveling around and delivering sessions at various clubs. And the other half of my job is working with players online, virtually, remotely, all over the world. So I'm currently working with a player from Singapore who is incredibly dedicated. He spends lots of hours practicing. We're working on some aspects of his serve, but we're also exploring lots of different parts of his game as well. Now, whilst this tutorial is specific to tech, there will be some hints and tips in there for everyone too. So be sure to watch them and see what you can pick up on and apply to your game. I'm going to give you some examples of kind of what we've been doing and how the tutorials look, what's involved, and just so you have a general idea of how the process works and whether you think it could be beneficial for you or not. Now, Tech, who's going to feature in this first little section, is someone that I'm working with all year round. So we have lots of contact. I see lots of his match play. He asks lots of questions. I'll edit his videos and send them back, as well as send tutorials that I've produced for him. There'll be lots of discussion and debate, setting of training exercises, chatting about mental preparation for matches, playing against different styles. When there's an opportunity to work together long term, we can cover lots of aspects of the game. Okay, but here is a part of the tutorial that Tech has received, and yeah, have a little watch. Hi Tech. Thank you for all the updates. Really useful to hear about the results that you're having. You're obviously figuring some things out, and that's giving yourself a better chance. So that's really encouraging to hear. And great that you've identified that your backhand is potentially your main serve. That's creating lots of opportunities. That allows you to not only find out everything that you need to about it and really focus your attention on the serve, but it also allows you to learn how people return it, because there's only a certain number of responses that tend to happen. And that means that you can start to build up how you follow up, and that's only going to make your game stronger and stronger too. Versus using lots of different serves all the time, and then it's very hard to know what's coming back and to learn all of the responses from that large variety. So yeah, good to have that focus. Okay, your backhand serve, I think, is excellent, and your use of it into this little forehand space, short into the forehand, is very, very good. You've got good backspin. I think you've got very good topspin. When people are coming in and they're touching it like this, the ball's popping up. You're creating great topspin. You might feel like you're creating more side spin, and that's because, generally speaking, the ball will change as it travels. So if you're imparting side spin here, when it bounces on your side, it's going to turn a little bit more into side and top. And then when it bounces again on your opponent's side, it's going to go a little bit cleaner topspin. So that's why sometimes they're pushing the ball and it's popping up, even though maybe you're focusing a little bit more on side spin. We can get more topspin, so we're going to have a little look at that one. It might be a little bit more obvious, which is fine, but I suppose we're trying to catch them out with a little bit of a kick and maybe catch them out with a bit more spin than they were expecting. So for that backspin variation, we're coming right underneath the ball. For that side spin, topspin variation, we're just catching that ball here, just kind of on the way up of the technique. And then to create more of a kick and a bit more topspin, we're going to be wanting to really exaggerate this movement up. So rather than just moving through the technique here, we're going to be accelerating up the back. Definitely much more danger of that drifting long. Yeah, so they might have more chances to get in, but it's a good one to have just as a bit of variety. So it's not one that you would use maybe 3, 4, 5 times in a row. It's you've used these shorter variations first, and then you're throwing in this kick just to help exaggerate the amount of spin and use that surprise element. Okay, so we still want that leading part, because we've got this part here, this first phase of the shot, for your other variations. So we want to be careful that we're not just staying underneath it and we're just focusing on the upward part, because then we're going to be telegraphing what we're doing. So we still need to keep this part here, but that next focus is just on pulling up. And again, you can see I'm not pulling up from here. It's not straight up here. There's this angle. That means I'm almost pulling back on the ball. And by pulling back, that lifts the ball slightly, and it's that lift that creates the jump. You can use this long into that backhand corner as well. We're going to be aiming obviously a little bit closer, much lower, and then this time we will have to come a little bit more up the back, maybe even over the top of the ball a little bit more, to be able to create that pace and distance that we're after. But again, from here, and then all of that focus on that acceleration upwards. And again, I'm still trying to make sure that I'm facing in this position here, because that's my general tactic. And then it makes this one a lot more effective. I don't want to be declaring it by changing my start position. There's not an awful lot for you to change. It's just focusing on that upward portion to increase the acceleration, and you'll get that ball jumping a little bit more. Okay, so there's a few things for you to focus on that. And again, even me working through this process, this is not my strongest serve by any stretch of the imagination. And I can feel the technical difference in mine. I feel like I'm pulling away from the ball a little bit too soon. So again, important to analyze what your normal serve looks like. Yeah, can we try and copy that finishing point too? Okay, so give the kick a go, a bit more of an emphasis up the back of the ball. Okay, keep going with the competitions. Good luck. It's great to see the updates. And yeah, over to you. And this second shorter clip is a player that I've been working with on and off through various programs. He's worked through the VIP offer, the Level Up offer. We've worked through those a few times as well as having some time off to work through things on his own. And again, we've had an opportunity to work on various things. And I wanted to show you some of the development that we've done with his forehand. So this is Anders in action. We're going to have a little look at what he started with and what he's progressed to, and then also what we're continuing to work on. So this was a video that Anders sent to me last year, looking specifically at his forehand topspin. You can see that he's mainly using his arm to produce the shot. There's not an awful lot happening with the legs or the waist, and that can limit your power as well as your control. So it was first of all important to identify that issue to Anders, and then start putting the process in place to start developing those individual aspects of his game. Introducing his legs into the shot, as well as this upper body torso. The speed that he had in his arm was working fine, so it was just trying to add in those other areas to the shot as well. And this is Anders now. This is him practicing his forehand topspin in isolation on its own against his return board. And we can see here he's using his legs. He's transferring that weight from his right leg into his left leg. His upper body is twisting into the shot. His technique has still got this good speed in his hand, and everything's moving forwards. So on its own, the technique is looking really good, really solid, good quality spin, good pace, good consistency too. Does that mean that he's got a fantastic forehand in his match every time? No, it doesn't, but this is where things start in isolation. You're able to monitor the progress with your transfer of weight, monitor the twisting, monitor your consistency. So we're just trying to develop that skill on its own first. And once this skill starts to become competent, it doesn't need to be perfect, but competent, then we can start to add some other things to it. And we do that to stress test it. Okay, so in these next clips, Anders is going to be playing some backhands and then transitioning into that forehand. Now, hopefully everything's going to be working as it is in this video, but if it's not, well, that gives us something else to focus on for the next sessions. So this is a regular drill. It's 3 backhands and 1 forehand from wide. So Anders always knows where the ball is going to go. 1, 2, 3, steps across, and he played a forehand. Now, I'm not particularly concerned about the backhand, whether technique needs improving, timing. The backhand is there as a distraction to the forehand. So can he execute a forehand that we've previously been working on whilst moving from the backhand and perhaps focusing on other things? If he can, then great. We move on to something else, perhaps an irregular exercise involving a similar thing. If not, then it's going to expose some areas that need some work, and that will be our focus moving forward. So previously, with the forehand in isolation, we were having this good forward motion on the forehand. Now what's happening is Anders is now transitioning sideways when he's hitting that forehand, dragging it across slightly, and that's affecting the quality of the forehand. So the feedback here is, after these backhands, can he get across, get that foot down early, and make sure that he's pushing that weight forwards into that forehand. That's going to allow the shot to have more quality. It's going to aid his recovery afterwards as well. Okay, so there it is. Just a little snippet as to what's involved with the online virtual coaching, the type of support that you get from me, the type of content you receive, whether it's a brand new video or whether it's editing your video so you can learn from your own training sessions and performances too. So if you're interested in working with me online virtually, head to my website. And if you've got any questions, you can email me, or you can arrange a free video call and we can discuss what you're trying to work on, as well as an appropriate coaching option that suits your requirements. And make sure you stick around for the bloopers next. So for that backspin variation here, we're going to be accelerating. Molly! And just the